Welcome to Uncle Bob's Magic Cabinet, a mother-daughter podcast on all things magic and pop culture. Three, 2, 1, and we're on. What are you laughing about already? Like literally, what are you laughing at?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Do I have a funny face?
No, I don't think so.
She's got the giggles today.
The gigs today.
Hi everyone, I'm Leigh. I'm the daughter.
Hi, I'm Lori. I'm the mom.
What's up?
What's happening?
Nothing.
Everybody take a deep
Let's all take a little deep breath together, guys.
Yes.
So,
a lot going on in the world. Yeah, so it's sad.
Yeah, so this is the first episode because we pre-record 6 episodes at a time. So we're pretty. I know. Well, we're backlogged.
Yeah.
So this is the first episode that we have sat down to record since the murder of George Floyd.
Yeah.
And everything that's happened since then.
Since the continuous, the world's going to in a handbasket.
Yeah, I think it has been for a while. So we're not going to talk about that much today because we are trying to listen right now and trying to educate ourselves, and then we will be doing an episode or multiple episodes where we're going to have people on that are going to help us with that conversation.
Yeah,
because I think it is about amplifying Black voices right now, not necessarily,
our voice.
Not necessarily ours.
Yeah.
But we did want to address it because it does feel a little strange to sit here and be like, haha, let's giggle when, there's some really serious stuff going on.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. And know that our hearts are with, everybody that, out there.
Yeah.
And that we're sending love and we're here to help and support in any way that we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the dog is coming in to agree with that. Thanks, Bub. I know. Literally, the second we turn on the camera and the recording, he's like, let me in.
Yeah. And
okay,
it's
Bub.
Just always me. For some reason. I don't know what it is.
Because you sit on his side of the couch.
Is that it?
I think it is.
Okay, so then next time we're going to swap and see if it happens to you.
Oh, no. Okay, but then I'll be totally thrown off because I'm going to be on the wrong side of the couch.
Right. Oh, my gosh.
But yeah, so we're a little, we're sad.
We're very sad.
We're sad. So we're going to try to keep it light because it is, it feels weird, but it is our job to entertain, I guess.
Entertain.
Which is kind of weird. I never thought growing up that I would be in this position.
Be an entertainer.
But here we are. Apparently I have a funny face that's entertaining, as we established at the beginning of this episode. Look at her go. Look at her go.
Well, you just bring me so much joy,
Oh,
in the face of sadness.
Oh. Am I your light?
You are. Absolutely. Of course.
That's precious.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah. So what else is happening?
Let's see. What else is happening?
You had a bit of
oh, God.
You had a bit of an epiphany this week.
Did I? What was it? What? Oh, God. I don't even remember.
It's centered around a corn dog.
You know what? I did not know you were going to bring this up, and now I feel I didn't even tell Jake.
You didn't.
Okay, so we were watching something, and they were talking about corn dogs, and someone was like, the cornbread around the dog. I did not know that corn dogs were made of cornbread. I thought it was just breading.
But it's called a corn dog.
I know, but I never thought about why. It doesn't taste like cornbread, does it?
What are you talking about?
It's weird to me that I would put ketchup on cornbread.
Well, you're not... I don't...
Do you not?
Know. Ew, gross.
But you put mustard on it.
I put mustard.
Would you put mustard on a slice of cornbread?
Maybe.
No, you wouldn't. You liar.
If it had a hot dog tucked in between it.
It was one of those moments where I'm like, I've been lied to my entire life, even though not really, because it's in the name corn dog.
Corn dog.
Okay.
And the breading is yellow.
I thought it was just some weird hybrid. I don't even know what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Like funnel cake. I thought it was like fun. You know, and I'm going to just sound even dumber if I continue.
Funnel cake is not made of funnels.
You know what?
You use the funnel.
I hate you. Thanks for bringing that up.
Do you feel like 10 times smarter now that you can be like, you can talk on?
You know what? Someone out there, please help me. Please tell me someone else in the universe did not know that was cornbread on a corn dog. I never thought about why it was called a corn dog. You know, I feel really stupid just sitting here talking about it, so we're going to move on. We've established that I don't know how to pronounce things and that maybe common sense isn't my strong suit.
I wouldn't necessarily say that, but...
Wow. Gee, thanks.
Yeah.
Gee, thanks. Did you notice what shirt I'm wearing today?
Yeah, I did, because it's my shirt.
It is your shirt.
Yeah, my Mother's Day gift shirt.
You haven't even worn it yet.
I have not even put it on yet, and
so
you
I'm
borrowed
borrowing
it.
This.
Yeah, because it, goes with your topic.
It ties into my topic.
Yeah.
We said it, I think in the first or second episode, I said, I'm going to get Matthew Lillard on this podcast.
Are you?
I mean, he's not here today.
He's not here today, but in spirit he is, because he's on the shirt.
He's on my shirt. I said I was going to work him into a topic, and boy, did I work him into a topic.
Yeah.
Now, again, with me pronouncing things, I have always said Matthew Lillard. That's not correct, I don't think.
No, because you just checked yourself.
I did just check myself. I Googled how do you pronounce, and I think it's Lillard. Okay. I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him and I'm going to ask him.
Next time I talk to him on the phone,
I'm going to say, hey. You know what? He seems like an awesome dude. Like, he's one of my all-time favorite actors.
Yeah.
Behind Denzel.
Behind Denzel Washington.
Yeah. No one touches Denzel.
Remember?
But he's close.
Remember a couple years ago when Denzel was in town and he just kept evading you?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was filming here for Fences.
Yeah, he filmed in Braddock?
No.
I thought it was. No?
I think it was like the West End or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to see him. That's probably for the best for all of us.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd embarrass myself. So,
but Matthew comes.
He's in the top 5
because one of your all-time favorite movies of all time
is SLC Punk.
SLC Punk.
I love that movie.
Did I hear they're remaking that?
We don't talk about that.
But did I hear whispers?
We don't talk about it. I think it's already been done. They didn't remake it. I'm pretty sure it's a sequel. Yeah. I don't like to think about it because when will people learn to stop touching perfection?
Exactly.
You don't need to touch it.
No.
You don't need a sequel. It was perfect as it was.
So the shirt you're wearing, because most people aren't going to be able to see it, is actually him and Rose McGowan from Scream.
Yeah, and it says "Liver Alone," which hilarious. Again, we should be sponsored by City Fox Printing because we wear his shirts like every week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a Scream shirt because Matthew Lillard. Oh, see, there Lillard. I go again. I go again. I'm going to do
Just
it.
Call him Matt.
Yeah, we're going to refer to him as Matt for this entire episode.
Maybe he prefers Matthew, though.
Oh, okay. Should I say Matthew?
Matthew.
You know what? I feel like we're friends. I'm going to go with Matt. I feel like I can go with Matt. So he's on my shirt because should I just jump in?
Yeah.
I am talking about 13 Ghosts today.
That's a good one.
It is a good one.
It is a good one. So not of his SLC Punk fame. Not of his Scream fame.
No, not of his Scooby-Doo fame.
Right. Or
what?
She's All That.
Oh my God. You know what? I could watch that scene in She's All That where he's doing that Give It To Me Baby dance over and over again. It's just fantastic.
I do believe you, for quite some time, you did watch it every day.
I could probably do it.
You probably could.
You know what? Maybe one day when I've had enough gin, will get me on film doing that dance.
Oh, hilarious.
If you don't know what we're talking about, please go watch She's All That. One of those great, was it early 2000s or was it 90s?
I thought it was like a 90s.
Jake's on it.
Fact check it.
Fantastic. I think 1999. Ooh, wow, right on the edge.
Right on the edge.
And boy, does it encapsulate that year. Just
yeah, exactly.
What a beauty.
It's a good one. Paul Walker in that too, right?
Paul Walker, Freddie Prinze, Rachel Lee Cook,
and what's her name?
And that girl that's always a butthole in the late 90s movies. I can't remember her name.
Oh, yeah. What is her name?
Oh, Gabrielle Union's in it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good cast. Oh, Usher. Oh my God,
Usher
Usher's in it. Yeah, there's a lot of people in it. Are you finding out the name of the girl? Right next to Matthew. What's her name? Jody Lynn O'Keefe.
Oh, I was talking about the one that she paints her face like a clown.
Oh,
what's her name?
Oh, crepe. I don't know. Claire Danes.
No.
Clea Duvall.
Clea Duvall. Yes.
Claire Danes.
Claire Danes, no.
It was a CD.
Clea Duvall, yeah. Right.
Okay, now that we've
run through Matthew Lillard's
entire
his entire
catalog and named you the entire cast of She's All That in case you needed to know that. Now you can pull out that as a random fact somewhere down the line. Yes, no, we're going 13 Ghosts. Now, this is 2001's 13 Ghosts because this is a remake of a 1960s movie called 13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
Now, that one is the number 13 Ghosts. This one is spelled out 13.
Ah, okay.
There is how you can tell the difference.
Though.
Same premise. I have not seen the original. We have it on VHS. I was supposed to watch it this week for research. Yeah. I just did not get to it. A lot going on. But I will watch it at some point. So I don't know about the classic.
Okay.
But we love the 2001 hit.
Oh, yeah.
So it stars Tony Shalhoub. I hope I'm saying that right.
I think that's correct.
Shalhoub?
I think that's correct.
The guy from Monk.
Yeah.
Yes. I like him.
And Polly.
Oh my God, I love Polly about the parrot. Forgot about that. Matthew Lillard, we're not sure. I'm going to call him later and figure that out. And Shannon Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah. Shannon Elizabeth.
Yes.
I forgot she was in that.
A rapper. You're going to Google it.
A rapper?
Huh? Raw Digga. Yeah. She is the nanny, and she's hilarious.
Oh, and it also has that lady in it that was in Matilda. Wasn't she Miss Honey?
Oh, my God. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
She was the ghost hunter. Oh, my God, look at you. Yes.
And the uncle is famous. Is a famous person.
Okay, so star-studded cast, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but yeah, so the heavy hitters are Matthew and Shannon Elizabeth. Now, at the time, so 2001, that would have been after American Pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Shannon Elizabeth's fame.
Before Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back.
Ooh, yeah. Hilarious.
Boo Boo Kitty. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little recap, and then I just want to touch on some things. As always, if you haven't seen the movie, please go check it out. And here is your spoiler warning.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, so the movie opens in like this junkyard, and it opens with a man named Cyrus and Matthew, and they are hunting for ghosts. Matthew Lillard is a psychic, and you can tell that because he touches the ground and he like, you know, I don't know. He looks like he's
his body.
I was gonna say, looks like he has to take a poop. He's in pain every time he has a psychic vision, but we'll get to that. And he says that the ghost they're hunting has killed 40 people. So they're hunting like a bad guy.
Bad.
And at this point, you don't know really what the heck they're talking about. Okay. So Dennis is Matthew Lillard's character. Okay. So he will be Dennis from here on out. Dennis touches Cyrus and gets even more visions of like all of this bad stuff happening. So I get he's a psychic. I would kind of he's kind of like a medium type thing in here. Clairvoyant. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So you hear them mention the term 13th ghost. And there's our title. You know, I love that moment.
You know that, yeah.
And it happens right off the bat.
It's epiphanal.
Dun, dun, dun. That's what we're watching. But Dennis says that Cyrus contracted him for 12. So something weird is going on here. You get the sense that Cyrus is kind of bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's trying to get the baker's dozen for the price of 12.
Yeah, he's trying to get one over on Dennis here and get an extra ghost. Okay, so while they're hunting this ghost, you see them put on these glasses. So you're not, right? So the frame, you're not seeing anything. They're talking about ghosts and you're not seeing anything. But then they put on these glasses and then you can see the ghost. So it's kind of like a they live type thing.
All right.
Where you have to be wearing the glasses in order to see these ghosts.
See the ghosts.
Okay, so it flash forwards or transitions to, I don't know, down the... Oh, my bad. Cyrus dies.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, I think I'm missing something. Cyrus bites the dust.
He bites the dust.
Right off the bat. So then it transitions to a family of 3 plus their nanny, who was Raw Digga. Is that right? Okay. The mom died in a terrible accident. So this is Tony Shalhoub. It's Shannon Elizabeth, a little boy. So Tony Shalhoub is the dad, Shannon Elizabeth and the boy are the children, and then the nanny.
Okay.
And it is mentioned that the mother has died in a terrible fire. They're really poor. They're living in like a tiny apartment. Life is bad.
Sad.
I was going to say, do you have anything to add to that? You looked really...
Multiple sadness.
Multiple sadness.
Sadness on many levels.
Right. So they get a knock on the door, and it is Cyrus's lawyer. And he has a video that Cyrus recorded for them saying that Tony Shalhoub was his last living family member and that he gets all of his assets, including a house.
He inherits everything.
He inherits everything. Little fishy.
And
Little
this,
fishy.
my friends, is your first red flag.
Yes, you're like, I don't think so.
It sounds too good to be true. It probably is.
And in classic early 2000s fashion, it's just like when technology was just coming out. So they make a big deal of this video recording and there's like all of these weird symbols.
VHS?
And it might be a VHS. You know what? At that time, it might be. Jake's shaking his head no, but I'm going to pretend that it was. Okay, so then they all go to this house. They're all like, oh my God, this is what's going to save us because we're poor.
It's just what we needed to happen.
It's just what we needed. They get to the house. It's creepy as f. I have that in my notes.
Creepy?
The house? Are you kidding me?
I think that is an awesome looking house.
Ew, it's all glass.
Usually when you inherit a house, it's like a haunted, ramshackled.
You don't think that this house is haunted? Right off the bat?
No, it looks like something that's sitting on the side of a mountain. It's like all glass. It's like...
I don't want an all glass house. Do you
some
want
people
one?
do.
Ew.
I mean, I personally don't, but it does not look like your typical...
I mean, it's not a hut.
Here's your haunted hovel that you've inherited that, needs totally bulldozed.
Okay, well, I thought it was creepy as all hell.
It looks like a pretty contemporary, fancy house.
That's not my jam.
Well,
I don't want no modern home. I don't want it all being glass.
Right. I hear what you're saying, but what I'm trying to get across
is that in the early 2000s this was a cool house?
This was like a mansion.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a mansion, but it's still creepy, and I'm going to tell you why it's creepy.
Okay, give it to me.
Matthew, aka Dennis, is waiting there when they all get to the house, and he is dressed as an electrician.
Right.
And he's trying to get in the house.
Right.
So they all go in, and the reason it's creepy is there's like little carvings all over the floors and all over the ceilings, and there's weird mechanics. It's creepy.
Should be like, welcome home.
No.
Carvings, no.
No, it's like creepy symbols. And I don't know, for anyone that knows anything about the occult, I would have walked in there and been like, I don't think so.
But we probably would have walked in and would have been like, yeah.
Ew, not with all the, just you wait.
Okay. All right.
She's like,
all right.
You would not want to live in this house. Are you really trying to tell me this right now?
I always liked the house.
Ew.
I always thought it was pretty cool.
You weirdo.
We're going to have a debate about this.
Anybody
who goes and watches the movie, give us your input on the house.
Yeah. Comment, if you're watching on YouTube, comment down below. Or if you're on, I don't know, Apple. Would you live in this house? I say absolutely not. Jake?
I mean, until you get to the basement and there's like cogs and wheels spinning.
Oh, Jake said it's better than where we live now. So I think
He's saying it's an upgrade and he would take it in a heartbeat.
I don't think so, man.
Until you get to the basement.
I was going to say. So let's explain. Dennis starts getting visions every time he touches a wall of like, so the way they show his visions is it's literally just like flashes, because I imagine that's what that's what he sees. There's just like random flashes of things, right? You can tell there's a lot of magic stuff happening in this house, okay?
Some magic.
Yes. Again, I have written in my notes that it seems like he's in pain every time he gets a vision, because I don't know why, but I think that that's important. He's like, oh.
He's not, he doesn't seem comfortable with this gift.
He doesn't seem to
that he
enjoy
has.
the gift.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. He wishes he didn't have it, I feel.
Yes. Reluctant. Yes. So Dennis sneaks away to the basement with his trusty glasses, and he sees all of these ghosts in like cages.
Containment units.
Containment boxes in the basement.
Glass.
All glass.
Yeah.
Again with the glass.
Tap, tap, tap.
Not sturdy enough for me, you know what I'm saying?
And that's when I say, and I'm out.
Yeah, okay, so now we're on the same page.
Correct.
Okay, so now you're out. So every glass panel, it's like a cage, and they all have, again, these symbols on them. Okay. So Dennis then runs upstairs and tells Tony Shalhoub that he needs to get out of this house and get his children out of this house immediately. And then he tells him who he really is, that his name is Dennis, and that he used to hunt ghosts, and he calls them displaced entities with his Uncle Cyrus for money.
Yeah.
So Cyrus used to pay him for his psychic abilities to help him find these ghosts.
Track the ghosts. He was a tracker.
He was a tracker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of the supernatural.
And that all of the ghosts were not good. Like, they weren't good spirits.
No.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So then the lawyer, in another scene, he's running off and he goes and grabs this briefcase of money. And when he lifts it up, it triggers this weird thing on the floor that kind of looks like a calendar. It's like this big wheel on the floor.
Right.
And it's spinning. And when he lifts his briefcase up, it triggers it to spin, and then it stops on one symbol. So then you realize that each ghost has its own symbol. And when this wheel stops on one of the symbols, its cage is unleashed.
It opens the glass.
It opens the glass, and it can run. Yes. Yeah. So we learn that these symbols, what the other engravings on the wall are containment spells. And they say that the supernatural realm has its own set of laws, and that's why the ghosts can't cross the containment spells.
Okay.
So when when it hits their symbol, it releases the containment spells and they can come out. Ghosts, they say, ghosts who die a violent death only know violence and are trapped in a tortured realm. And that's how they were able to get them. So they were already on Earth. They were trapped.
Okay. In limbo.
In limbo, per se, yes.
Yeah.
Which is something, that's a theory that we have heard many times.
Absolutely, for sure.
So here I have a bunch of hits the fan. I'm not going to go into the specifics because I think you should watch the movie.
This is one that we always watch on Halloween for sure. Yeah.
And I still to this day think that someone needs to create a haunted house based off of this movie where you're going through and it's all of these 13 ghosts.
Shut the front
Tell me
door.
That wouldn't be the coolest thing ever.
Put it on my to-do list.
Right? Yeah. Guys, we're making it. Someone with money, invest in this. Invest in me. I have some good ideas, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Okay. Oh, that would be so cool.
Right?
Terrifying, though.
Terrifying. You would need a Tom Savini echelon, special effects makeup artist.
And you must sign a waiver before you...
Yeah. Because it would be scary. It would be so scary.
Scary.
Oh my God, I would love
it. Those ghosts in there are petrifying.
Yeah. Honestly. Okay, so it is revealed that, I'm going to try to do this without giving you too many spoilers, that the house is a machine, which you can kind of tell, like I said, with the weird spinny thing, and there's all kind of mechanics going on in that house. It's a machine. The machine required each specific ghost to give it power, And the ultimate goal is to open the eye to hell.
Open the what?
The eye to hell.
Oh.
What
I
do you
thought
think
you were
I
saying the how to, and I was like, the how to what?
Yes, the how to
build
guidebook.
an IKEA piece of furniture? I don't know.
Honestly, yes, because who knows how to do that? Yes, this was all to learn how to build IKEA furniture. Basically, you find out Cyrus is trying to, that's why he was doing all of this. He was trying to get the key to hell, basically. Okay, so this, hits the fan, go watch the movie. But I want to talk about all of the 12 spirits.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So, like, just whoever made this and came up with this, so creative.
So creative.
So creative. I love this concept. I feel like
I love it.
Even though this is a remake, I feel like it has not been done before.
No, and everyone in the horror community clowns on this movie.
Yeah. Same
And
with
I don't get it.
Same with Ghost Ship, and I love that one.
Yeah, I am, like, I will sit here and I will defend early 2000s horror movies until I die. You have to put yourself in the time period, and for the time period, I thought it was awesome. I thought the special effects were great.
Yeah.
I thought it still creeps me out. Like, literally, we watched it for the research, and I'm like, ooh, this gives me the creeps, man.
It's a little scary.
It is. Okay, so I want to talk about the 12 spirits and then just give a little nod to my boy Matthew. Okay.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so the 12 spirits, and I'm going to line them up with the actual zodiac, because whether they intentionally did this or not, they have like similarities. So it's called the Black Zodiac.
Okay.
Okay. And you have to watch the movie to find out what the 13th ghost is, because that's kind of a long spiel. But the 12 ghosts that are in the house are, number 1 is the firstborn son.
Okay.
So that would be Aries,
Right.
which is the first sign.
That is correct.
Okay, then you have the torso, which would be Taurus. You have the bound woman, which would be Gemini. You have the withered lover, which is Cancer. And I have that the similarities there are, it's a water sign. And this withered lover is like drowning in emotion.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So interesting.
Is this do you see her in the bathtub? Yeah. That's when she goes for Shannon Elizabeth or something, right? Yeah,
Correct.
right. Okay.
Well,
Is that the one I'm thinking about? Is that the right ghost?
are you sure it's not the angry princess? Yeah, no, I don't. I think you have the wrong one.
All right. I'll just shut up now.
You could be right. Jake's going to Google it.
He's gonna Google
and I'm going to continue. You have 5, which is the torn prince, which would be Leo. And in the description, they say that this is someone whose ego has completely been destroyed.
Ooh.
Which, if you know Leo.
Right.
So it's kind of like the opposite.
The opposite of the
sign. You have 6, which would be the angry princess, which is, I think, who you're talking about.
Okay.
Oh, okay. We're not going to tell you who the withered lover is because it spoils.
Gotcha.
But the angry princess is who you're talking about, which would be Virgo.
Yes. Ooh.
And as we know, so it has to be a woman.
Opposite, right? Yeah. Okay.
And we know that Virgo is the virgin. Okay. You have 7, the pilgrimess, which is Libra. You have the great child, which is Scorpio. The dire mother, which is Sagittarius. The hammer, which is Capricorn. And it has to be like a strong, kind of like a...
Yeah.
Like a force.
I remember that dude. Scary.
Yes. You have the jackal, which is Aquarius. And I thought it was interesting because the jackal is shown with a cage on its head.
Right.
The jackal's the one that creeps me out.
Oh, yeah. No.
So it has a cage on its head, and Aquarius is the sign of like thought and innovation. So I thought it was interesting.
Trapping the
mind.
Thoughts. Oh, yeah.
And you have the juggernaut, which would be Pisces.
And that's 13.
No, that's 12.
Oh, 12.
There's 12 zodiac signs. She's like...
Oh, yeah. But I was thinking it was the 13th ghost, but yeah.
13th ghost. I don't want to spoil it.
No, don't, because, I know. I remember now. I remember.
I liked that. Thank you.
Did you?
Yeah,
it's
I did.
a little ditty I just wrote right now.
It was good. I think we should record the full version. So isn't that so? I don't know if they did that intentionally, and I think that some of them there's not a direct correlation, but some of them line up with like a dark counterpart.
Right. And then towards the end, they're all lined up on the wheel with their symbol, right?
Right. I mean, it is very much, they call it the black zodiac. So it's supposed to be.
Yeah. But just the opposite, or maybe the very dark aspects of your
each
horoscope sign.
Correct.
That is very cool.
I know. So they only, if you watch the movie, they only focus on certain ones. Like they don't really go in fully. So I don't know like what each is supposed to represent and how that would make it the darkest side of each sign. But the ones that I could find, I thought were very interesting.
Yeah.
The correlation.
Yeah,
and
cool.
you know me, I love some special features. And I watched all of them. And they didn't directly say that they like copied the actual
movie
zodiac wheel.
Zodiac.
Yeah, like they didn't say anything about how each the black zodiac relates to the actual zodiacs, you know. But I thought it was super cool.
Yeah.
If you're into astrology, I think it's kind of fun to dive into that.
Yeah. Interesting. I like it. That was only the first time I said interesting. I'm checking myself.
Yeah, some
we got some family feedback.
Some family feedback was take a drink every time Laura says, interesting, and take a drink every time I suggest something as a Halloween costume, which I resent
and
that.
then they would be tanked and under the table. So
hey, you know
I'm keeping a check on my verbiage.
I love it.
Don't you?
I was gonna say I could be Matthew Lillard for Halloween, but I didn't. But then I just said
as
it. So.
SLC Punk.
Right. What? I know. And Jake could be Bob.
And you could drink Mickey's.
I'm doing it. Take a drink. Okay, so that is my little spiel about the Black Zodiac. There is another, like if you Google the Black Zodiac, there are actual, I think someone made like an actual dark counterpart to each zodiac symbol that's unrelated to this movie. But I couldn't really find any like validity to it. I think someone just kind of Googled it. So if you want to do that, it's kind of fun.
Right on.
The other thing I did want to talk about is Matthew Lillard as a psychic.
Yeah.
What are our thoughts?
I think he does a very good job because obviously I don't know what it's exactly like to be a medium or a psychic or a clairvoyant, but I feel like it's a gift that he has, that he's terrified.
But also a curse.
A curse. He's terrified of it, and he doesn't really like to use it, but because he's kind of a hustler and he kind of looks for the easy way out, he has relied on it to make money.
Right.
But he resents that.
Yeah. And then in the end ends up using it for good. Like if you watch it. But I thought the way they like showed it, and again, maybe like actual mediums would have a differing opinion. But from our experiences at Lilydale, how certain people get their messages through touch or smell, or you know, like everyone's is different. I thought his was interesting. Like at one point he touches Tony Shalhoub's character and gets like all of this information about his life. Right. I thought that was kind of realistic too from mediums I've seen. Yeah,
because it really, you know, energy is the transference of energy is what it's all about. So
I thought it was realistic. I think he's an excellent actor. I love that role.
Yeah.
Like I love him in that role.
He just, everything he takes on, I think he just brings a really cool aspect to the characters.
He's quirky, man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Which, you know, is probably why we like him.
I know, but I do think that quirkiness lended to like the psychic abilities. I don't know.
Yeah, I always feel like specifically in the 90s horror, it's dark and it can go really dark. Like, I don't know, like an Exorcist or something like that.
Oh,
But then
yeah.
you have like that comedic element that lightens it up a little.
The early 2000s really did bring that.
Yeah.
That's why
And
I like
that.
them.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't know they were being cheesy.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
you look back and you're like, haha.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did also, and I hope this isn't controversial, a lot of times like psychics or mediums are women. So I thought that it was interesting that
to show
because there are
Absolutely.
men that have the
absolutely.
gift. But I think people often connect the dot of like deep, intuition or psychic powers with the woman, which, right? But
Yeah.
there are men.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, because I think the stereotype is that in general, men have a hard time tapping into their emotions, and that's something that's required, in with that gift. And you saw how tortured he was trying to cope with the emotions of he himself was a hot mess, and then trying to then take on the emotions of
other
pain
people.
of other people. So, definitely. Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was a nice change up.
I agree. I love him.
You do.
Maybe next year for my birthday, we should have a Matthew Lillard day.
Really?
Yes.
What would that look like?
Scream. SLC Punk. 13 Ghosts. Maybe Scooby-Doo. She's all that.
Okay.
I'm just going to watch his dance and
it's
she's
gonna
all
be a
that.
theme.
Yes.
Yeah. What would the menu look like?
Oh. Mickey's beer from SLC Punk.
Mickey's beer.
That's it.
Mickey's beer on tap.
What does Scooby-Doo like? Everything. Don't they eat they eat sandwiches a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Just sandwiches and beer. I don't know. When I call him to ask about his name, I'll ask what his favorite food is, and then we'll eat that.
I'm sure you can find an interview with them. What are all those new things that are coming up where it's like you get the celebrity and it's like they tell you what all their favorite stuff is.
Oh, like the interviews. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Cameo where you can pay them to say like, happy birthday. That feels
we
wrong.
could do that. We could do that. Jake has a birthday coming up. Who would deliver your Cameo, Jake?
He does love Ron Swanson. Maybe Nick Offerman. He says,
yeah, Nick Offerman.
He says, yeah. Or Freddie Gibbs. He loves
Megan
Freddie
Mullally,
Gibbs.
If Megan Mullally chimes in on there.
If I could get Freddie Gibbs to give you a birthday show, he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. But yeah, so there's my spiel on 13 Ghosts. I think if you like anything related to astrology, you would like it. If you're into ghosts, you would like it. And if you're into early 2000s
Cheesy
you would
horror.
like it.
Yeah.
And go watch it because Matthew Lillard deserves like a good pat on the back for that one.
I like it.
And scene.
Cut and scene. Okay, so now it's my turn.
It is your turn. We need to get better at like transitions.
Okay. What does that look like?
Girl, I don't know.
Really?
You're like, really? I don't know. Are we good at it?
I don't know. We're new at this. We're learning as we go. Yeah. All right. So as of course you put down your computer and I've got my notebook. I'll go old school.
Old school girl.
Right.
Did you use my colored coded pens?
I didn't touch your pens this week.
Okay.
Nope. I'm sure you would have noticed if I did.
I would have.
Right?
I see that they're all in their place.
They're all there and accounted for. I won't touch them. You probably have like fingerprinting, where you dust for fingerprints to see if I've touched them.
Sure do. No, I'm just...
Oh my gosh. So I have an interesting topic this week, I think.
Okay.
So growing up, you loved fairies.
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah, so I'm surprised that you do not know and are not aware of this.
Yeah, you mentioned the name and I'm not familiar.
Because we had this movie, and I don't know if we still have it, but we had it, and you don't remember watching it?
No.
Okay, so my topic starts out with a movie that's called A Fairy Tale, a True Story.
A fairy tale. Okay.
Okay.
Wait,
Or
and that's the
just
movie
Fairy
we
Tale.
had?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Because on the front cover, it was like two little girls and a fairy. No?
I'm going to have to investigate.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. So 1997.
Love it.
Okay. And as you know, fairy tale and then a true story. Right? So that's intriguing in and of itself, right?
Tis.
Okay. So who would you know in this story? You would know maybe Harvey Keitel. Okay. He plays Mr. Harry Houdini.
Oh.
Right.
Okay. Didn't see that coming.
Okay. And then we have Peter O'Toole.
Who's that?
He's a very old actor.
Jake, Google it right now.
Like, what's he famous for?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I know who that is.
You know who he is?
Yep.
What's he most?
Probably Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, Lawrence of Arabia.
Okay, yeah, I know who that is. Okay.
Yes. And he plays Mr. Arthur Conan Doyle.
Oh, okay. Well, I did not expect that.
Right. So we used to watch this movie, so you don't really remember it. Maybe I watched it by myself.
Was I like 2?
I don't know.
Well, how old was I?
I don't know, because you've literally always loved fairies.
I used to build fairy huts in the backyard.
Did, yeah. And then you had your fairy closet, which would, there would be gifts and stuff. Okay, so that was the movie that we watched, and it spurred me to say, well, this is a true story, so let me delve into the story behind, right? So it takes place, it's based on a story about the Cottingley Fairies, okay? And it takes place in 1917. Is the real real deal, right? So that's over 100 years ago, and 2 girls, Frances Griffith, who was 10, went to stay with her cousin Elsie Wright, who was 16 at the time. Okay, at her home near the Yorkshire village of Cottingley in England.
Fun. Sounds magical.
Okay. So they spent the summer playing, and they like to sneak away and play down at the beck, which is a stream. Okay. And because I was like,
things today.
I was like, what's a beck?
I didn't know. The singer? I'm a loser.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Good one. So it was below their house, but the parents did not like them going down there because they would get dirty, and it was muddy and all that kind of stuff. And
Get over it.
So when they were pressed on their disobedience of why they continued to go down to the beck and play, they replied that they went down there to play with the fairies. Yeah.
Cute.
Right. So they decided that they were going to set out to prove it. And Elsie's dad, his name was Arthur, he was an amateur photographer. And so he had his own camera and darkroom, which in those days was rare because the first camera, I have it written down somewhere, but I mean, it wasn't like nowadays. It wasn't a common thing that everybody had a camera because they were expensive.
Okay.
Right? And there wasn't even film back then. It was done on plates.
Right.
Right? So they set out to prove it. And they borrowed Arthur's camera, which was a Midge quarter plate camera. And they went off to the beck, and they came back with 1 photo. And so when Arthur developed it, it was Frances behind a bush, and in the foreground was what appeared to be 4 fairies. Right?
Okay.
So everybody kind of poo-pooed it, and, well, no, right? That can't be right. So then the girls, 2 months later, borrowed the camera again and went back down to the beck and came back with another photo. And this time it was Elsie sitting on the grass, and she was holding her hand out, and there appeared to be a fairy, a 1 foot tall gnome, like near her hand.
Okay. So a gnome.
Yeah.
Okay, fun.
Yeah. So Arthur assumed that it was a prank because he knew that his daughter was very artistic and that she had spent time working in a photography studio. So
I thought she was like 7.
No. This is Elsie's the 16-year-old.
Oh, okay, my bad.
16 and 10. Yeah.
Like, what?
So Elsie's the 16-year-old. So he just dismissed it as a prank, and he took the pictures and he filed them away and thought nothing of it, right? But his wife, Polly, thought they were real. So in 1919, she attended a meeting at the Theosophical Society. So, of course, I had to figure out what is the Theosophical Society.
What is that?
Right. So it is a society that was formed in 1875, And it was Seekers of the Truth and Believers of the Supernatural.
Fun. Is it still around? Do we need to join?
Right. And the lecture she was attending that day was called The Fairy Life. Right? So afterwards, she just happened to bring those photos with her and presented the 2 photos. And they were so astounded by the photos because people had taken pictures in the past. And it was like, oh, yeah, that looks like that could be a fairy, kind of like,
like a lightning bug. Oh, it's a
in
fairy.
a piece of toast or in the wallpaper.
Right.
You know what I mean? But never was there a human with a picture of, with fairies interacting with human beings.
Gotcha.
So this garnered a lot of publicity, and they ended up asking her to have the photos, and they hung them up in the Theosophical Society. So a few months later, they caught the attention of a leading member, Edward Gardner, and the photos began to circulate. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting.
Are they getting paid for this?
No.
Okay.
So, are they getting some moolah for this?
Just wanted to check.
Getting some cash? All right, so in 1920s, the photos come to the attention of medical doctor and one of the most popular authors of his time or any other time for that fact, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Okay. So we know that he is the writer and creator of Sherlock Holmes. Okay.
Sure do.
So he writes about Sherlock Holmes, but the character of Sherlock Holmes is the great rationalist. Right. But Arthur Conan Doyle himself is a devout believer in life after death, and he has an untiring mission for the spiritualist cause. And he spends his time donating the equivalent today of millions of pounds to try to prove that the dead were all around us and eager to chat with us.
Wait, so that's true?
That's correct.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did I know that?
Did you not know that?
I don't think I knew that.
Really?
Did he go to Lilydale?
Yes, he did.
Okay. I think I did know that. Mm-hmm. Wow. I didn't know he was invested.
Invested, right. And he has a very odd friendship with Harry Houdini.
Okay.
And so that's why he makes an appearance in the movie. And I'm not going to touch too much on that today because I can do a whole nother episode on these two and their friendship completely.
I think we need to do like a Lilydale episode too, and maybe we could tie that in.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as we know, that, Harry Houdini was a big disprover.
Right.
Like he went and tried to disprove.
All the time.
So the fact that these two had this very unique friendship.
Were they opposite zodiac signs?
I don't know. Look that up.
I was going to say, Jake,
I don't know what their
oh my
zodiac
God.
signs were.
Side note, Matthew Lillard is an Aquarius.
My gosh, no wonder you love him.
Love him. Okay, go ahead.
A fellow Aquarian.
I know.
Right. So then, of course, what is spiritualism? Do we know?
I do, but why don't you enlighten me?
So spiritualism is a system of belief or a religious practice based on communicating with spirits of the dead, specifically through mediums. Okay.
Wow, our topics are kind of intertwined, and I like that because we didn't do that on purpose.
We did not.
Okay.
So they believe that spiritualists believe that spirits are not static, but they continue to grow and develop on the other side.
Okay.
Right, which we very well know from our time at Lilydale. In the heyday, spiritualism was at its height from the 1840s to the 1920s, even though it still exists today. And there are a few remaining spiritualist communities, which Lilydale in New York is one of them that we go to.
Yep.
And I think there's one in Florida, but
really would not have expected one there.
I think so. I would have to double check that, but I think Jake is checking it right now.
Jake's fingers are tapping away on the keyboard there. Ding, ding.
He's like, let me check.
Casadega is the one in New York.
Right.
Yeah.
Casadega.
Oh, no.
Oh, there's a Casadega.
Lake Helen, Florida.
Ah, see?
Well, I thought the one in New York was on the Casadega.
Casadega Lake.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Interesting,
Well,
right?
would you look at that?
What a coinky-dink.
Check and make sure that's on the Casadega Lake so I don't appear stupid.
No, it is.
Oh, is it? Well, I don't know. After the corn dog situation, you made me feel a little insecure.
Oh
Just
my
check
gosh. Oh my gosh.
It is. Okay. Yay.
That's a
Validated.
So, also coincidentally, at the time, Arthur Conan Doyle has been commissioned to write an article for the December 1920 edition of Strand magazine. And his topic that he has to write about is fairies.
Fun.
So all of the stars are aligning, people. So the timing was awesome, to say the least, right? Now, of course, me being the researcher that I am, I was like, what is Strand magazine, right? So
I was going to ask you, but
were you?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, good. So it was a magazine that was published in 1891 all the way up until 1950.
Okay.
And produced 711 issues, and it was printed the first Sherlock Holmes stories in like short story format.
Okay.
And that's how he kind of got his start writing, because obviously I said he was a medical doctor at first.
Right.
And then he ended up, leaving that practice and ended up, writing Sherlock Holmes.
Fun.
Which has...
Way to go, dude.
Which really, when you look at it, my gosh, the long-standing... It just continues to
build.
Evolve, because we've got Sherlock...
The show.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Right.
Which I
Then
love.
you have a bunch of movies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What's his name?
Because Jude Law does Sherlock Holmes.
What the heck's his name? The guy that plays Iron Man, which...
Oh, yeah. Robert Downey Jr.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So he doesn't want to seem like a total idiot, right? And he sets out to authenticate these two photos.
Okay.
And make sure, they're legit. So he sends them off to 3 different companies, one of them being the Kodak company. Okay. Kodak decides... Yes, they're authentic, but they're not going to give them a certificate of authenticity because they're the fence sitter in all this. Okay, so they're like, does not look like any evidence of tampering, doesn't look like anything, looks real, not going to give you the stamp of approval. But he takes that as thumbs up, right? Mm-hmm. And then another company says, absolutely, completely real, gives them the seal of approval. So that's 2. The third company says, no, we think there's something hinky about this, right? And he chooses to say, no, okay.
We're going to ignore that.
2 out of 3, I'm going to say they're authentic, right? Mm-hmm. And so he decides to go with that. And he sends Mr. Gardner back out to Cottingley to get the girls to take some more photos.
Well, okay, pressure's on.
The pressure is on. And he even provided them with 2 cameras. Yeah, so he sent 2 cameras for them to use, and there was a reason for that.
I was going to say, what?
Yeah, so he actually called Arthur, not Sir Arthur, but Arthur the dad, right, to the girl's dad, and asked if he could buy the photos or use the photos, and he would pay him. And the father said, well, I thought they were fake. And even if they're not, I don't want to soil any of this. We want no money, which turns out to be a good thing.
Oh, okay.
All right. So he sends him with 2 cameras, and they have 24 secretly marked plates to make sure there are no shenanigans. So he ain't dumb.
Very smart.
He's a smarty pants, right? So actually on an episode of Antiques Roadshow in 2009, Series 31, Episode 17, you can actually see the daughter and granddaughter of one of the girls, and they are trying to sell the camera and the photos.
For how much?
They sold for 25 to 30,000 pounds.
What, is that a lot?
That's like, yeah. I mean, in U.S. dollars, I think it's $30,000 to $35,000 in U.S. dollars.
Well, hello,
big dollars, right?
I wouldn't shake my head at that.
Yeah, so
$37,639.71.
So he said that's what they were worth, and they are actually now on display in the National Science and Media Museum in Bradford, England. So you can actually see them.
So we need to go to England. Okay.
Yeah. So, there was like 2 weeks, and it was like raining, and the weather wasn't right, and they kept kind of,
dancing
around. And then they told Mr. Gardner, well, the fairies aren't going to come out if there's like an adult around, so you can't be here. Hello, red flag. Right?
Are you going to tell me that this is fake? Because I'm going to be upset. You are, aren't you?
Be quiet. I'm not there yet.
Oh, no.
Okay, so the girls come back with 3 more photos, and they are deemed authentic. Okay?
Okay.
And Arthur Conan Doyle uses them, and he actually writes a book in 1922 called The Coming of Fairies, which you can still get. It's still in print.
Well, how have I how don't I have this?
I don't know how you don't have this because you are a fairy
My
guru.
mind is blown. Okay.
Is it blown? Okay. So through the years, the phenomenon dies down and the girls grow up and the popularity of the Cottingley fairies ebbs and flows throughout time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So finally, in an interview in the early 1980s, just a few years before the girls pass away. So in the 80s.
Dang.
In the 80s.
They lived a long time.
They did, right?
Well, were they like, I'm not going to test my math skills?
Well, you figured 1917 is what we said, and they were 16. So she was born in like 1901.
Right.
So, 80. She was
okay,
in the 80s.
That's not that old.
She was
like, she was ancient.
She was old as Methuselah. So they admitted that they faked the photos.
Okay, but how?
Okay.
First of all, I'm devastated. Second of all, how?
Okay, so they admitted that they used cardboard cutouts and hairpins.
I need to see these photos. Wait, can you see the photos?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do they look ridiculous?
Like for this day and age, yes, but in 1917, I can see where, and I go into why. Why.
Tell me why.
Okay, so they maintain, both of them maintain that the 5th photo that they took is real. Okay.
What?
But the 4, there you go. The 4 were faked.
Oh my God. Okay,
That's the real photo.
That is not what I was expecting at all.
So you're like, that's fake.
I thought it was going to be like a little ball of light. Not what is that?
Look, there's the gnome, the wing gnome.
It looks like a lawn statue. Wait, that is not what I was expecting.
Right.
Okay. Just a little thrown off there. Okay, stop what you're doing and please go Google this.
Hilarious, right? So for our time period, it's kind of like, how did anybody not know that wasn't fake?
I literally thought you meant it was going to be like a little ball of light, like Tinkerbell. Or like, not with like facial features and right. That's hilarious. Okay.
So the funny part is that they actually took the photos from a book called it was a 1915 book called Princess Mary's Gift Book, and they cut out the pictures from there. So would you have nobody seen these pictures and said, that looks like very familiar out of a book I just read. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like
the exact same position.
It wasn't like it was in the 1800s. It was the book was made in 1915 and this happened in 1917. So it's not like it would have been so swept under the carpet that nobody would have seen this book. And I think the one guy that came out to debunk it said, well, they really have some Parisian style hairdos that are, look kind of trendy for the time period. So, right?
You know what? I will say, as goofy as those are, impressively done.
Exactly. Well, I think that's the other thing. It's like there's this 10 and 16-year-old and there were no
time on their hands.
There were, and at one point the dad went down to the Beck to say, let me see if I can find some proof that these kids were, horsing around.
Right.
And found nothing. Like no sign of anything. So they said that they let them wash down the stream after they were done. They were smart. Right?
Dang.
So Obviously, if you look at the photos now, you would not understand how anyone would think they were real.
Hilarious.
But over the course of a century, it swayed thousands of people into believing, the fairies were real and the spiritualist cause and the supernatural and all of that. So here are the two reasons that I came up with, or that I researched, and this is what it said.
Reasons as to what? Why they did it?
As to why people believed that they were real.
Gotcha.
So in the 1900s, so I knew I wrote down, the first camera came out in 1816. So that's only 100 years. And I mean, those first cameras were the ones you'd see in the old Westerns where you had the light bulb,
It took a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't like it is today.
Right.
And the camera was thought to be a scientific instrument.
Okay.
And people were unaware in the ease in which you could manipulate photos. They thought if you took a photo that was...
I see.
You know what I mean? So they didn't believe they could be manipulated because it was science. I mean...
Yeah. You're right.
You're like, yeah, whatever.
Okay. No, I get it.
So the second reason is that World War I was happening.
Okay.
So 1914 to 1918, 1.3 million British fatalities. So there was a huge loss of life, and it crushed people. Mm-hmm. It crushed their spirit. And you saw a huge rise in spiritualism happening at that time. And it was a coping mechanism for people. So they needed to believe that something other than their reality could be possible.
I get it.
You can get that. Mm-hmm. So Arthur Conan Doyle himself lost his son, his brother, and 2 nephews in the war.
Wow. Okay.
So, which would kind of maybe lend to why he became such
invested.
Such a believer in spiritualism himself.
Okay.
So again, we talked real briefly about the 1920 Harry Houdini, who was an illusionist and an escape artist and one of the world's highest paid entertainers at the time. But he had a public campaign to expose frauds in the spiritualist community.
And he didn't catch this.
He didn't. Well, at this time, it was definitely... I don't want to get too much into it, but the friendship ended.
Gotcha.
So this it's going to be a whole nother episode.
Okay.
So I'm not going to get too much into that. So we talked about the fairy tale in 1997, which is the true account of what happened, here.
And they say in the movie that this was all baloney?
No.
Oh.
They make you believe, they tell you that it's not going to the 80s where the women come out and
gotcha.
say, and when asked why, they lied.
That's what I was wondering. Because they weren't getting paid.
They weren't getting paid. And they said that they just did it for fun and for something for the two of them to do. They had no idea that this was going to come about. And they felt ashamed because Arthur Conan Doyle was so smart. Oh. And, and they felt ashamed to say,
sorry, dumb
buddy. Right? He wrote Sherlock Holmes. There's these 2 young girls, and here's this mastermind.
And they pulled one over
on him. And so they just kept their mouth shut all those years.
Wow.
Right. Again, what you might know is in 1994, Terry Jones and Brian Froud did a little parody on the Cottingley Fairies called Lady Coddington's Pressed Fairy Book. Now I know you had that.
I did, yes. Mm-hmm. I did not know that it had any. I've never even heard of this. Mm-hmm. I don't know how.
How have you not? Yeah,
I don't know.
So you can actually, if you like what you heard today, there is a drunk history episode, a UK drunk history episode on this, which is hilarious.
I have to watch it. I love those.
And you can visit Cottingley, and it is a big tourist attraction. So we might be crossing the pond someday.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the town is decked out with all these fairies, and you can visit Elsie's house, and you can go down to the back.
Wow. Okay, love that, and I really want to go, but how in the I'm just what?
So that's my story on the Cottingley Fairies.
I'm a little, taken...
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. First of all, had no idea.
Right.
No idea. Second of all, those pictures are the funniest things I have ever seen. If you need a little pick-me-up, which I'm sure you do, who doesn't right now, Please go look at those. This whole time you were talking, I'm like, yeah, like I could see that, like a ball
You're
of light.
like, finally,
Finally.
there's proof.
Or maybe like a lightning bug got in the shot and you're like, oh my God, it's a fairy. Yeah. What in the is that?
Yeah, so they say that the fifth picture was real, but experts have come out to say that, and each girl claims that they took the picture. So what they're saying is that the one girl probably took a picture and then the other girl did, and it was like a superimposed, like a lighting thing, and so it looks
right.
much more mysterious and real.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, hysterical.
So we can go to the museum in England and see the cameras and the real pictures. And then you can go to the town and like the light posts are have fairies. And
oh, that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, good for these girls for like, just for and giggles.
And gigs.
Just like, you know what? What do you want to do today?
Can you imagine being 80 years old and being like, I got one over on Arthur Conan Doyle.
I've stayed silent about it for 70 years.
Oh my gosh.
That is
right.
Awesome. Way to go, girls. Okay.
Yeah, I loved our topics this week.
Yeah, those are fun.
They were fun, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, you had psychic and I had,
Yeah, I didn't know that that's what, I had no idea. That's a fun little.
I know. And because you were like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah, right.
But I'm glad because I learned something today.
There you go.
And now I think we should go to that town.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't know what we're referring to when we talk about Lilydale, I would give it a little Google.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll do an episode.
It's my next.
Yeah, we have a group of friends that, obviously there's a pandemic going on, so I don't think it's going to be open for a little bit. But we have a group of friends that want to go, and some subscribers of ours that are like, we should do a meetup.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
It's a spiritualist town. Yeah. I mean, just to give you a little.
Yeah, my next week's episode is on Lilydale.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Well, I was going to do the supernatural episode.
Oh my God. Okay.
So I gave a spoiler.
I don't have my topic yet.
I just said it. I said it. And we're not supposed to.
You did. Jake's going to yell at us later.
I gave you a nugget.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, Jake just said we should record in Lilydale. Okay, so Jake has this really awesome idea, and we want to know what you guys think about it, that we should take the show and record in some of these places that we're talking about. Record an episode in, I don't know, the Bell Witch Cave or in, that would be totally cool. The logistics of that, not sure yet.
Right.
However, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get there.
If those two little girls could pull one over
on Arthur Conan Doyle,
we can figure that out. Wow.
All right, guys.
Okay, so what did we learn today? We learned that I love Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
Lillard. I like Lillard better.
Tomatoes.
Yeah. And that little girls are smarter than most people.
But the jury is still out whether fairies are real or not.
Oh, I think they're real, but how anyone thought that was hysterical. Fantastic. All right.
All right, guys.
I hope you guys are all staying strong, and we love you. And we will talk to you next week.
We will. So, TTFN.
All right. Cut, print, check the gate. Moving on.